let's get into what the papers are reporting today. And to help us do this, we have in the studio our friend Kojo coming. Why do I always want to give him his grandfather's name? Kwame Nkrumah is General Secretary of the CPP and also a lawyer. Kwame, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
I hope you're well.
I'm fine. And good morning to you and Sweetie and Honorable Atabuade and your cherished listeners as well.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, we also have Atabuade, Awuntirim, former MP for Bosa North constituency. So that's where Apak is, right?
No, Apak is in the south.
Bosa South, okay. Agauga.
Yeah,
oh, okay. Okay, all right.
He took over from me.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So let me say good morning to yourself and the beautiful Sweetie. She looks fantastic this morning.
Thank you.
With a matching dress and everything. And then good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
Thank you too. You've been picking me anytime I come for the program.
Oh.
So I don't pay a lot of fares.
Anyway, let's bring in, Jacqueline and Soma Yeboah, who is at the Odorko polling station in the Ablekuma North constituency. And but Jacqueline, I hope you're well. You've been there for some time now. Kindly give us a brief or an update of what's happening at where you are.
Yes, Kojo Bray. So currently I'm at Odorko. I've been to a couple of polling stations, like 3, and I'm yet to move to the other polling stations. But then before I even give you the update, the Accra mayor is here. He has to leave. Mayor, you're currently live on Joy News. And what has been your observation so far? How many polling stations have you been to so far?
I've been to like 3, and everywhere is very calm. I'm just praying the people will come out and vote for us to have the next NDC candidates.
Are you here to vote or just support your candidate?
Oh, I can't vote here. I don't vote here. I vote in Okankwe South. Oh, okay. But I'm here to support.
Okay. Now, over the week, just some hours ago, we saw that now the NPP parliamentary candidate for Ablekuma North has finally decided to run again, and she's still in the race. You saw prior to that, there were a lot of conversations surrounding the fact that they wanted to, put an injunction, a whole lot. What do you say about it? What do you have to say about this?
Rabban has lost what's the name of the candidate, NPP candidate? Yeah. Akua has lost twice already. He's going to lose the 3rd time, right? After the December elections, Rabban won the election. They said, oh no, he took it to court, right? He lost from the courts. They said we should have a rerun.
Both teams claim they won.
But Rabban won. Okay. Actually, Rabban won. So, as I'm talking to you right now, they decided not to run the elections. But they went to court again, they lost again. That's the 2nd time. So the 3rd time is on the grounds. There is a popular guy on the Facebook called the ground will decide. Today, by the special grace of God, by 5, Rabban will be the next parliamentary candidate.
You seem so confident about this.
Yeah, very. Okay. I have so much faith.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm pretty sure we'll get to speak to you once the elections results are declared.
Sure, and I'll give you part of the champagne.
All right, sure. So, Kojo Bray, that is the mayor of Accra giving us a bit of details. He's been to a couple of the polling stations around. But then currently where I am, I'm at the Church of Pentecost, Odorko North 4, where we have 100 and the expected voters here are 145. And also at where I'm currently at, there are roughly about 3 different polling stations. And the other one I went to, which was Church of Pentecost, North 2, we have 66 voters expected there. There's still a couple of other polling stations that I'm yet to visit to bring you up to speed details on what is transpiring. We're still waiting for most of the voters to come through. There are a lot of party faithfuls around, but what is happening is that we haven't seen the actual voters yet, but the conversations I've been having with people off camera has been that most of them are here to, protect their interests. Some of the people queuing and some of the people you might see around, they are not the ones coming to queue themselves to vote. We are yet to see the actual voters pass through these polling stations that I find myself at. Kojo Brace.
Grateful to you, and I'm sure that you will be there for us and get us all the updates as and when they come in. Grateful to you. And we have a number of our reporters in the Ablekuma North constituency to help us out with this. And we say that we're going to be your eyes and ears on the grounds in Ablekuma North in these 19 polling stations. So stick with us here on the Joy News channel throughout the day as we bring you, undiluted coverage of this particular rerun in that constituency. So Jacqueline there with the AMA boss giving us voters themselves, as we understand, have not yet come, but the Electoral Commission is set for this particular rerun. Let's see how that goes. Sweetie?
It's a good time to bring in Professor Isaac Boidi. He's Dean, Faculty of Accounting and Finance at UPSA. So we have our guest set for us this morning. So let's start with your comments, your reflections, whatever you want to share with us. It's been a newsy week, and today in particular is one to watch for. And I want to start with Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah Botu. What's caught your attention?
Thank you very
Friday,
much.
so,
Thank you very much,
yeah.
Sweetie. And, Osagyefo once said that the forces that unite us are intrinsic and greater than the superimposed influences that keep us apart. With that in mind, I wish the electorate at Ablekuma North all the best as they vote today. They should remember that we are one people with one common destiny. They should vote peacefully. Politics should not be something that keeps us apart. We will one day leave politics. We'll leave this earth and leave it to our children. They should think of their children and grandchildren and have a peaceful election. And the second thing on my mind is the sorting out of the scholarship students issue abroad. I heard the good news this morning, and I was very, very happy. I think kudos to the government for sorting them out. And also, we can see that it's a listening government. Therefore, there are two things I think they should give attention to. 1D, 1F, and...
1D, 1F, they've announced that.
Yes, they want to scrap it. And also... exactly. And you also have...
if he's able to come.
Okay, you also have IMF calling for reduction in the VAT rate, which is good, because normally these external bodies, they always do things that don't seem to augur well for the citizenry. And regarding 1D, 1F, I think it's a perfect policy that can fit well into the 24-hour economy. I heard that they were thinking of scrapping it. I don't know if they've done it yet. However,
the minister
announced that they were going to, yes, but I think they should take another look. The same way the Honorable Minister of Education, Honorable Haruna, maintained together with the government, the free SHS. 1D, 1F, even if you complain that the previous government may not have carried it out well, it's a laudable initiative. It's a listening government. They have listened to the voices of the students abroad, seen to them. They should listen to the IMF also and bring the VAT rates down. And they should also try and take advantage of the 1D, 1F. As His Eminence Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams said at the recent prayer and Thanksgiving, we should try and have continuity in the government policies. And this we should take another look. It shouldn't be a matter of you come and you scrap, you come and you scrap. You come, you bring your own policies, but the existing policies, see how you can tweak it to favor your own policies. Those are the things on my mind this morning.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Ontrim now for his thoughts for us this morning.
Two things. But let me start from where he landed. I think it's a good call. It's a good call on grounds that the 1D, 1F, if it had been properly embarked on and we are getting the fruition, it becomes a foundation upon which the 24-hour economy would be built. If the one district, one village, one dam program had also been successful, it becomes an anchor upon which the 24-hour economy would have been built on grounds that there is agric and its processes is the real sector of this economy, and we must put in every effort. Even if the Palgo Dam had been done, I keep telling people that it doesn't matter whether you do one village, one dam. If there's a big irrigation dam, people can travel from Accra to set their farms there. People can travel from Sanma to set their farms there. So it's a good call. It doesn't mean that it has totally been. I think there will be a review. We'll look at the factories that are under one district, one factory that are working, that are really producing and working, and try to review. When you look at the whole concept of the 24-hour economy, it hovers around factory development and so on and so forth. So it's a good call. But you see, yesterday I was watching your program, and then this issue of Ibrahim Mohammed's takeover and then the Zuma issue came up. And one of your panelists was saying that, do you remember Keno Foriata? Do you remember Data Bank? Please, 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 please. They should stop reminding us of the atrocities Keno Foriata did to this country. Keno Foriata was managing public funds, the taxpayers' money, sovereign funds. Data Bank was used to borrow 13 billion euro bonds, $13 billion, and took over 159 million, said on the floor of Parliament. Is that what we are looking for? SML was tied to him, a Japa deal. Frontier Health Services that was established at the airport were all tied to Keno Foriata. So if EMP, Engineers and Planners, has taken over Azuma Mining and there are challenges, let them resolve their matter. Public funds cannot be used by a private man. If all the finance ministers today, when they come to power, they set up their own businesses to use the taxpayers' money to milk these people into a point that we couldn't even borrow $1 from any place across the world.
But
we only
aside Data Bank, the SML, the one at the airport,
the Frontier.
The Frontier. Yeah. You mentioned another one.
Ajapa.
Have they been proven to be linked directly to him?
Yes. You were not following the story by Manasa Azuri. The custom officers, where do they? Are they under the Minister of Finance?
Yes.
The Frontier Health Services, when they were when the issue of the parliamentary the approval of the ministers came up, everybody said that they should wait for Keno Foriata. Keno Foriata has got what they call the keys to unlock the mystery behind the procurement. Who brought them there? You remember the issue?
Yes,
waited.
Yes.
All the
but I'm just speaking on the direct. But as for Data Bank, is direct.
Direct, yes.
But as for Frontiers, SML, and what have you, is it
because they were managed under him? The 58 million that was put in the cathedral, he said it was contingency fund. Remember the controversy? They said it must be approved by Parliament. Ken Oforiata unilaterally did that. So these were institutions, because what was the concept of what was the objective of SML? Was to ensure that revenue leakages that is accruing to this country are blocked, and they put a proper system to ensure that we benefit.
I remember the conversation you're referring to yesterday, and the argument was on whether or not we support Ghanaian, wholly owned Ghanaian.
No, I'll come there.
Yeah, and I think the point that you are rebutting or responding to was when he had the chance. That was Dr. Zato.
Yes,
he had the chance to speak on whether or not we appreciate Ghanaian companies and the work they do for us. Then he was citing these are the companies.
The
SML
citing was completely
the rest that you were talking about.
They were at variance on grounds that the takeover of EMP and Azuma Mining are completely a different private issue. So government is not even saying that if they don't resolve the matter, they will come in. But Keno Foriata was directly in charge of public funds, taxpayers' money.
But SML
and he used...
that was a private company doing work for the government.
SML, even later on, its operations were expanded to include the mining sector.
Yes,
which state institutions were duly in charge And they deny in Manasa Azure's report that they didn't really actually play a role there, including even the NPA that came out later on and said SMA did not even play a role there. And they were, at the end of the 10 years, they were to take $1 billion. Any transaction you enter into that does not near to the taxpayer, the sovereign people of this country, must be checked, because he was taking $1 billion at the end of the 10 years. What private entity does that? Do you understand? And these institutions were directly under the supervision of the Minister for Finance. He cannot extricate himself from any of them. In fact, I think there is still investigation going on these things, and you'll directly be linked to it. Okay. You cannot. If I'm the head teacher, and I'm to ensure that the food of the children are, despite there's a matron there, the senior housemaster is also in charge. Anything I should be held responsible. There's a housemaster, there are compound professors and so on. But anything that comes under my stewardship, I should be held responsible. Okay. What I'm drawing the link that, you see, we should not obfuscate the issues. Where it is wrong, let's discuss it. But you cannot take, you see, the link here was because John Mahama's younger brother was into this aspect of it, and that they want to quickly link it to the fact that we're talking about family and friends, and that they were grabbing state properties in Nyafo. And they want us to believe that this takeover was linked to John Mahama, and John Mahama is the president. So now we have been in power for 6 months, and we have used the back door to ensure that his blood brother takes over the mining concessions of Azuma and other shareholders and so on. But they are in an arbitration court. The two of them are fighting. Attorney General is not represented, not a government. But the link should be very clear. There's no any link between government, private people, and so on. This is very clear. Unlike Kenofureta, he was managing public funds, taxpayers' money. Was managing sovereign funds, all the institutions that were mobilized to mobilize money for this country. It was under him. Okay. He must be held responsible. There's no way you can link the two. I just want to make it clear. There's no way you can link the lands, what do you call it, the EMP that belongs to the president's younger brother, and that of Azuma mining concession and other stakeholders to what happened under the MP. Okay. Right. Not today, not tomorrow, and it should go straight to. Then there was this issue of a murdered.
We'll get into the papers.
Okay.
I do have to say, though, that just like we accept your opinion of how you think these things should be discussed, he is also entitled to his own interpretations and how he thinks these things unfold.
It would have been good if the two of them.
Then we can, get both sides at the same time. So I appreciate your argument, but Dr. Zato's argument is also his to make. Exactly. The point I want to make.
But he should make argument that are informed.
No, but I mean, let's end it on you made your argument. He made his argument.
Thank you.
Professor Boidi, let's hear you out now.
Sweetie, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to my colleagues.
You're matching colors. I'm just realizing that.
Yeah, I know you're a fan of the colors.
I take inspiration from them.
Yeah? Okay.
I'm learning from the best, Yeah, good morning, and good morning to your viewers as well. I think I will start with a comment from my good brother, wishing Ablekuma people well. Since December 2024, they've not had a rep in Parliament. They've been denied a rep in Parliament because of prolonged electoral disputes over a period of time. Finally, we are to do this this morning. Often it starts very calm in the morning. In the afternoon, the dynamics, they do change. Yeah. In the evening, different story. We don't want this thing to happen again. Calm in the morning. People are going about their normal duties. In the afternoon, the tension picks up. Then in the evening, different story. We want not the same story to be told. But you see, there's a governance cost here. Just because isn't that how many polling stations? 19 out of 62 or so. Governance cost.
I think it was like 68. Well, what they said was outstanding, and then they collated.
It was 87, 84, the first
But they
time.
did some in December. Yeah. In January this year, it was, I think, 68, and the court said the EC should go and complete. They did it and said it was remaining with 3, but later we are told that only 18 out of a certain number was able to.
We can't go on like this. There's a cost. We spent money the first time. We have to spend huge sums of money today. As a country, we need money. We can't be dashing money like this because of these disputes. They don't help. What are we learning? What reforms are we going to have out of this? These are things we need to focus on. Then my last issue is on the 24-hour economy policy, which was launched the last time. I never had time to come here to discuss this, but it's a laudable, good policy by this administration. Finally, we have seen this document. It's been in dark for years, for months.
Yeah.
But finally, we have seen it. And it's a good policy. And I've told other people, and my good friend, that, look, if we can use as a base for...
Prof, sorry, we'll come back to you, but we need to go back quickly to Ablekuma North. As we say, we said earlier, eyes and ears are there. And my colleague, James Aveji, is joining us from that particular constituency. James, where are you and what's happening there now?
If you can hear me, I'm at the DVLE LA polling station or polling center at Awoshi here in the Ablekuma North constituency. Just a while ago, at some 5 minutes ago, the first voter cast his ballot at exactly 7:06 a.m. The electoral officials have been here very early this morning to set up. And as you see in your shots there, the second person is readying himself, and the third candidate, also a voter, also readying himself to cast their ballot. And so it has the activities for the day have kickstarted here in the Ablekuma North constituency, and this is one out of the 19 polling stations where the voting exercise will be happening. The man in your shot there in the white is the presiding officer, and he is man in affairs here at the DVLA polling center here at Awoshi in the Ablekuma North constituency. And so the second voter is casting his ballot and will be followed by the third person. I just want him to finish with what he's doing, then we can get the full data of the number of persons he is expecting to cast their ballot here at this particular polling center. I must say that we've also been to the Presby School at Odoko, as well as the Pentecost Church, where the voting is also happening in this particular constituency. At the Presby School, as at 6:40 a.m., the electoral commissioners were yet to set up, but the police have had their barricades and everything set up, waiting on the electoral officers to set up to kickstart the day. Let's have a quick conversation with the presiding officer on what he expects. Sir, thank you for your time. You are live on Joy News. Tell us your name and this particular polling center and how many voters you are expecting to cast their ballot today.
Well, my name is Kwatinjan. Kwatinjan is my name.
Okay. How many voters are you expecting to cast their ballot today?
Exactly 630.
613. So far, you've had 3. What's your expectation for the day?
Well, I have no expectation.
You have no expectation, but you expect the process to be peaceful?
Peaceful and smooth.
Okay. Kwatin Jemfi is the presiding officer, and you see in your shot, police officers are also here to also make sure that there is peaceful atmosphere here. There are no chaos. The MC for Ghana South, I should believe, is also here, and Honorable Nisoa, and he is the Dean of MCs in the Greater Accra region, here supervising activities. Honorable, thanks for your time. Turn this way for me. You've been here. I came to meet you here. So far, have you been to other polling stations? What is your appreciation of preparedness for the day?
Yes, I think that as typical of every by-elections, it's always a bit quiet, calm, and they are coming up. It's early in the morning, so normally people will have to come early and then go and do other activities. Most of them, as I see, it's like they want to see how the voting turns out.
Okay.
Spacing, and I believe that as we get to midday, a lot more will come out to vote.
I mean, the call is for a peaceful election. With what you've seen in the early part of today. I've seen a number of police officers here. Is that your expectation at the end of the day?
Oh, yes. You know, our Excellence, President John Dramani Mahama, is for peace and acts peacefully. So everyone following the NDC. I'm the Dean of Greater Accra and also the Chairman of Ablekuma constituency.
Okay.
We stand here, and if you look around, it's been very calm. So far, so good. And I think that it's going to be a very good day. Less casualties on the conclusion.
Okay. And your assembly is?
I'm I'm the Gan West Minister.
Gan West. Okay. Okay. So, Sweetie and Brace, there is Honorable Desmond Nisoa, and he is the MC for Gan West Assembly, and he is here monitoring activity. So far, voting has started here. So far, 3 voters have cast their ballots already, and they are waiting for over 600 voters to turn out for the day here at the DVLA polling station at Awoshi in order to cast their vote. It is so far peaceful, and we expect that the day will continue like that, and by 5 p.m., 6 p.m., possibly the activity should come to an end, and possibly an MP declared for the people of Ablekuma North constituency, Sweetie and Brace.
But James, do you see, people trying to troop into the area to cast their vote, or are people even lining up for it at all?
With what we've seen so far, it is generally starting on a slow note. Remember, this is not a general election where even those who do not have interest in voting for taking part in the parliamentary elections would want to come and vote in the presidential election. This is a rerun, quite a very small amount of number of polling stations involved. And so from where I stand, it is starting on a very slow note. But the expectation, as we have seen with a number of elections, is that as the day progresses, especially by midday towards the ending of poll at 5 p.m., that's when a number of people would be trooping in to catch the late hour of the voting process. And so, so far, 3 people in less than 15 minutes, quite encouraging, but it will be a slow start, and we see how it progresses in the course of the day. The polling agents, especially the political parties, will be expecting a high voter turnout, which would inure to the figures, the numbers for them. And so we see how it goes in the course of the day, but a pretty slow start, no one in queue waiting to vote. And so it's quite when you get here, you get your time to vote and then go and face the rest of your activities in the course of the day. So, Brace, slow start, but we expect that to progress steadily in the course of the day. And
the party agents are also there now?
Yes, the 2 party agents are here. I have interacted with both of them from the NDC and the NPP as well. They are ready for the day. The police are also on standby, and some of them in the inner perimeter, as I will show you in your shot there, waiting outside the perimeter and waiting, keeping security in check here as the voting process progresses.
Grateful to you, James Savage. Keeping an eye on what's happening there so that we can update our viewers on what is happening. James Savage is one of our guys on the ground in Ablekuma North there. As he says, so far at the DVLA polling station in Awoshi, out of 613 expected voters, 3 have voted so far. Yeah, Prof, you were on the floor when we took it over from you.
Yes, I was looking at the 24-hour economy, that the policy academically looks good. They made a lot of references, giving you the background to the issues, the document itself. If you're going to have the same in terms of implementation, it will be good as a country. And it's one country, and when we have a policy, when you finish with the policy, you leave it, you send it to us, and we consume. So we have rights sometimes to make comments about the policy. So on a whole, it's a good policy if we can implement it well. It's not about credit. I've heard other people who have said that they've copied the the Agenda 111 policy. For me, whether it's a copied one document or not, the issue is about implementation and the person also giving credit. If indeed, and that's what we do in academic circles. If you pick an information, you give credit. But I've not seen anything like that. But what I'm saying is that it's a good policy if we can implement this policy well. But my challenge is on the Fund 24. The policy needs 4 billion. That's what we have been told.
Yeah.
4 billion. You need 4 billion for 24-hour economy. And ORA pledged of recovering 18.6 billion. 1/3 of that amount is about 6.3 or so. Why do you need an additional money? If 1/3 of what you pledged in terms of financial scandals to be retrieved, then we don't need any money for 24-hour economy. Because that money is huge. So let's go for those monies and use it to fund the 24-hour economy.
I think timelines are important in that comparison, that analogy you made. Because if they are going to recover these monies, they all have to go through due processes. You have to prosecute these people. You have to ask them, you have to get their time in court, listen to them, find out they're guilty, then ask them to bring
people
the money.
have been judged already.
The economy, well, I'm just saying, the economy is not waiting for us to recover those monies before we can start to see the progress that every Ghanaian is.
So I can give you background to those funds, about 18 or so, stated in that document, the oral document. Some were low-hanging fruits that they could pick in a few months or few days. And 1/3 of that money can take care of the 24-hour economy. We want the policy to work. And we're also showing where they can also get the money to run.
Okay, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the newspapers now. But let's take a moment, let's spend a moment on Ablekuma North, because today all eyes are on there. And like Kojo said, we will be going in and out to bring you details as and when we have more. The question on my mind is, 2 days ago, the NPP said they'd pulled out of the election and that they were not campaigning. And then I think the day after that, the chairman of, was it a chairman? One of the leadership of the NDC accused the NPP that they were in fact campaigning on grounds, door to door, even at night. And then they went to court. Of course, they didn't get that backing that they wanted, and so they threw out that application. So they do have to go and run for the election. The EC had been quiet until yesterday when they said they were expecting about 6,000, a little over 6,000 people. I thought that there was a huge information gap in terms of what the NDC and the NPP were saying, and I thought the EC ought to have come out earlier, because in the course of the week, we went on the grounds and people didn't even know that there was an election rerun.
Yeah.
Let's reflect on this for a second, Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah.
Do you think that today's election, the results that we'll get would be fair, free and fair for the ordinary Ghanaians, some who do not even know that this rerun is happening, some might have traveled, and I think they ought to have had more time to prepare. Everything just happened that way. What do you think?
As somebody who did his national service with EC in 2004, and have also worked closely with EC in my capacity as a politician, it's hard work, and the Convention People's Party, even in 2004, when it came to the auditing of the register, we spoke in support of the EC, and of course it turned out that the auditing wasn't necessary. So all along the way, we have full faith in the EC as it stands now. However, I think Sweetie has made a very good point. With this one, I think it's indefensible. It's indefensible. The publicity should have gone out earlier. However, it does not mean it will not be free and fair, because the publicity not having gone out earlier means it didn't go out early on behalf of NPP supporters. It didn't go out early on behalf of NDC supporters. So if there's any disability or any disadvantage, it is suffered equally by both sides. It doesn't favor any any side. However, I would say that by all means, some people have been deprived. I heard on my way here on radio one gentleman saying that he came all the way from Akua, arrived this morning to come and vote. If they had had earlier notice, I'm sure people may have done some arrangements. So by all means, some will be deprived from voting today. However, it will not affect the fairness since it affects both sides equally. And I'm not in the mind of the EC as much as I have full faith in Madam Jean Mensah. From her days at IEA, she has shown to be somebody who is interested in furthering democracy in Ghana. All the politicians know. They've attended the IEA seminars and
the way the conversations around the Electoral Commission has evolved over the past few weeks, I think you're one of the few people who still have so much ability to deliver credible elections.
Yes. I remember her good work at IEA. Nobody can deny that. She's always been an objective, neutral, apolitical person. And I would say that, of course, she presides over the whole. And I know people have pointed out that maybe Dr. Bosman Asare may have one day been with NPP or something. But I don't think that is really...
But if you put that aside and you look at the EC itself, the stance they've had from December all through to June. They went to Parliament in June, right? It was June that Dr. Bosman... Or was
yes,
July?
in June, yes, when he had his press conference.
As of that point in Parliament, the EC had always stood by the fact that they were only left with 3 polling stations to collate.
Exactly.
Then all of a sudden in July, we are told that it's now moved from 3 to 19. What does that do to the reputation of a commission which has been under fire for some time now from political actors to say, you are not cut out for this job and you have to go?
Well, when it comes to the work of the EC, as much as you try and get everything right, you are bound to make mistakes. When I was in my national service, it was during Dr. Afriyie's tenure. And he did a great job.
Yes.
My bosses at the Japa district, where I worked, the EC officer, they used to praise him all the time. He used to go around the country all the time. I mean, he was always on the ground. However, I believe was it 2012, during the election petition, the first election, was it 2012?
Yeah, 2012.
Yeah, 2012.
That was under...
So like 2013.
It was under his watch.
Oh, yes.
It was under his watch. There were questions to be answered. During the era of the stolen verdicts, is that 1996 or...
92. 92 was the stolen verdict.
It was under his watch. When we had the Tain election, it was under his watch. And, I mean, his work was flawless, but mistakes were made. You see, it's a human institution. No matter how well you try to get it right, there may be some mistakes. Regarding jumping from 3 polling stations to 19, I do not know exactly why there was that jump. But from following the Ablekuma North elections and the violence and the burning of offices, and it was a very dicey situation. I can't speak for the EC. When it comes to that, they may have
yesterday they spoke.
Questions to answer. Yeah.
And when they spoke, according to them, after they went to court and the court said they should complete the coalition, I think it was about 68. They did a coalition and there were some 39 outstanding. According to them, the NPP brought scanned copies of 18 or so. Okay, so I think it will be 37 because now 18 plus 19 will be 37.
Yeah.
So when the NPP brought the 18, NPP brought all the scanned copies anyway, but they were able to marshal 18 of the presiding members to confirm that the 18 scanned copies were right.
Yeah.
That's why they now say it is because they couldn't get their presiding officers to confirm for the remaining 19.
Exactly.
But the question is that you knew this information way before, June. Yeah. Why were you still bent on standing at we're only left with 3 to collate?
Yeah.
Only to turn around to say 19. Mr. Winter, I don't know, you've been a former member of parliament before, but if you look at the sequence of development with the the EC and how it has handled this whole Ablekuma North thing, doesn't it do anything to the integrity of the EC itself?
Certainly, it has put the Electoral Commission in the integrity into tatters. Why? Since the G. Mensah-led Electoral Commission and his team took over, there have been a lot of challenges. He took over from a commission that has run elections for some time. And the shortcomings of those commissions were well known. So when you come into a new institution, you improve on its shortcomings and carve a niche for yourself. So that at the end of the day, time will tell that, look, you did well at when you were at such an institution. Look, since G. Mensah took over, the issues of even she not listening, the way she was running the institution, sometimes issues are suggested. We look at IPAC, he knows because he's been going there. IPAC, even though it is not legal binding on the EC, but IPAC has played a very significant role since we started the democratic process to shaping where we are today. You go there and it is that they are coming to tell you what they want to do. They are not rather seeking the consensus building they've been having over the years. So you keep making such mistakes to an issue they've been having, this running issue with Imani about their incompetence and so on. Remember the 2024 election, they had to announce the presidential results 6 times. Remember the SAL issue and so
the
on.
2024?
2020 elections.
Okay.
And so on. So they should have learned from these mistakes and put the commission to a very healthy status as we are today. If not, there won't have been an issue as whether it is 3 polling stations or 19 polling stations if they got their calculations right. Well, all the time they've been getting their calculations and their numbers right. And that is why it is embarrassing them for now. Now the question is, how do we run our state institutions? Do we allow them to run independently as stipulated by the Constitution, or there are always political maneuvering behind the scenes? And when you do that, this is where we are going to lead ourselves to. And for me, like you rightly put it, how come that they were not able to get the figures from the beginning and at this stage that they are giving us different figures? Be that as it may, our NDC is prepared to run the elections. I heard Sweetie talking about the fact that there's low-key enthusiasm. It is so because it is not the whole constituency that is being done. It's just 19 constituencies. And for most of the voters, some could even be at the polling station, they might not vote because voter fatigue could come in. Sometimes the behavior of the political parties will not inure to the benefit of voters coming out. We expect that the turnout should be great and bigger so that the NPP keep crying that the elections that we just had leading to this controversy, most of their people did not turn out to vote. I'm expecting that there's time for them to go out and whip their people to come out to vote to show whether the people are rejecting them or the people do not want to vote because some policies that they undertook had a negative impact on the people. In any case, Ablekuma has been a stronghold of the NPP. I remember the last election, the gap was about 20,000. How come that is so close and then leading to this controversy? If the gap were bigger, no controversies can write it off. And if
according to Tanko Computer, yesterday the Electoral Commission did a coalition of what they had again.
Yes, I saw it.
And the NPP is leading by 44 votes.
44 votes.
That's what
whatever it is, what closed the gap so huge? A million miles gap had been close to 30, is it 40?
He says 44.
So I've seen the results too about that also. So that means that, you see, it's a reflection of the stewardship of the NPP when they were in power. And I believe that our reflection of our stewardship within 6 months being in power would also inure to our benefits there. I talked elsewhere that, look, the city's appreciation affects everybody. It's not constituency specific. The inflation is not constituency specific. Just the general calmness and the peace engulfing is not constituency specific. Even though the constituency has its own needs and priorities, which we agree there must be a representative there to carry their voice in parliament. But the general atmosphere and the economic turnaround, people in Ablekuma have not been left out. And these are the issues they are going to look out to vote. Yesterday, unfortunately, I was listening, but this is a campaign message. One of them that said that Mahama wants to come to the second term. That's why he wants this vote. I said, if you are going out there to campaign for your votes, better get a message and tell the people why they should vote for you based on stewardship, based on what you've done over there. Because Ablekuma North has always been represented by NPP. By the NPP. But you see, sometimes we take our strongholds for granted. We know that even if you put, like they say, if you put a goat and put a particular T-shirt on it, they'll win. And because of that, when the MPs come to Parliament, they do not even take into consideration the needs and wants of the people in the constituency. There are little things, building of a market, building of a, what do you call it, kindergarten, nursery, and so on. MPs can be able to do those things. Attending to the needs of the people will be something that is within their domain. How come that they've gone so low and that 19 polling stations are to be rerun this morning? At the end of the day, I just want a peaceful rerun. I want to see that the real voices and wishes of the people are represented in this rerun, and the right people is chosen to lead the people of Ablekuma. Prof has said this morning that the people in 6 months, they cannot have a leader. But Prof should have also told Saleh, 4 years, Prof, they were not having it. I remember in the Techiman case, you remember the High Court ruled that the people of Techiman cannot be without a representative. And the representative must be there while the issues within the constituency is resolved. Because our democracy is a participatory democracy. Everybody able and having a healthy mind who is to, there should not be obstacles put in the fellow's way of voting. And I urge all people, voters in Ablekuma North this morning, to come out and cast their vote. And by 6 o'clock, I know that they are going to cast their vote for the NDC candidate to go and saw up our numbers so that we would be able to do much more things. If 6 months in government and the whole Prof is praising us for our 24-hour economy, I know that.
Issue a caveat.
I know. That is just part of it. But you see, just let me end before Prof. You know the 4 billion that we are talking about. Even if the 4 billion is sitting at the Bank of Ghana, the whole amount will not be released to the Secretariat. It will be released as
it linked to the Ablekuma?
No, I just want to put this thing there. It will be released as at when you meet certain criteria. Just like when we went for the IMF 3 billion. Not all the money was given to us. We're given some benchmarks to meet. As at when we meet the benchmarks, we'll be released. Because history would have told us that if you give so much money to an institution, sometimes it is not effectively being used. But with the benchmarks, you want to do this, we're giving 100 million and so on. I agree with the oral. But like Sweetie said, it's going to take a lot of time, energy before you retrieve such an amount. But with the gold board coming into place and the fact that we are making so much from the export of small scale gold, they should be able to glean some money from them, be able to, because this is a very important descendant. Waste should be cut and then the money brought into ensuring the
but I think, to be fair to government too, government says even though the entire project is going to cost 4 billion, government's contribution in there is it 10% of it?
Less than 10%.
Which is going to be around $400 million. But one thing I find intriguing about this whole policy is that there's the voter base in development. The 20,000 hectares of farmland. You know, it will cost $9 billion to
put it.
Yes. Yeah, $9 billion. So how the policymakers ended up, maybe they have to educate me to understand, ended up to say that the entire policy is going to cost 4 billion, when I have seen that the subset of the entire thing is 9 billion, is something I don't understand.
Yes, I think the Minister for Finance will be doing the budget review in August. These things will be properly captured, that is one. Two, I've also seen that a research on the Palgo Dam, we can irrigate over 100,000 hectares by gravity, by the watering alone. And I think that, you see, it is a journey. All of us, it's a journey. The 24 hours is a journey. It's not a one-stop project. It could take 10 years. And as at when you implement a project, you begin to see a lot of issues you have to streamline to ensure that the project comes to a success. Until we read that journey, the destination, it is going to be like that throughout. And I think that it should be supported by the total mobilization of the people of this country behind the policy. It is non-partisan. Whatever that we do to get, apart from the Volta, look at our front plains. Look at the Bulsa North, the Bulsa South, the overseas lands and so on. Look at areas like the Tumu Upper West. Tumu alone can give.
I think we need to bring you to have a separate discussion on this. But let's Prof come in to take his bite on the Ablekuma North.
Ablekuma North. Prof, the people who say the NPP was afraid of the NDC getting to third majority if they win this Ablekuma, North constituency seat. That's why they initially pulled out, and now that they've realized that nothing is stopping them from stopping the EC, they're back in the race. But I want to hear your reflections in terms of the information gap, the explanation that the EC has been given in terms of the U-turn that they did, whether or not it's a U-turn, I mean, for want of a better word, and the way the NPP handled this election, whether or not they've been fair to their own voters. First you tell them that we are out of this race. You go to court. The court says you don't have any valid reason to pull out of this election. And 2 days to the time, you say, okay, we are going door to door to campaign. Let's hear you on this.
Well, the decision to boycott, well, I didn't come up with a decision, but we can still make reference and comment about that. A party decides that for this rerun election, we will not go. Now the candidate tells us, I will go. Today, we have seen a lot of the party's sympathizers that wish Ablekuma area. And they are there, campaigning.
That's yesterday.
If you take a closer look at some of the statements by the leaders of the NPP party, the decision to boycott could stem from interconnected multiple factors. It could be political, it could be legal, it could be strategic. One, they want to tell us that there's a perceived legitimacy of the earlier victory that they chalked. So we won't go. It could also be a stem out of the fact that we won the election already and we don't trust EC. So we'll not go. EC happens to be biased, so we'll not go again. It could be more of a strategic reason because they can't flip-flop. You can't say, I won't go, the next day you are there. It could be a strategic reason. I can't speak for them. But the point is that it's an election. And you must find so many strategies that you want to use to win it. Today they are there. You see, when you boycott, you risk ceding that seat to the NDC free. Okay, when you win that seat again, will that change the narrative in Parliament? Will it give you...
sorry. Today, as for today, you have to forgive us. We'll be cutting you, regularly. Let's go on to the phone lines now and bring in the Aide to Afriyie, who is the NPP's parliamentary candidate for the Ablekuma North constituency. Chief, thank you for joining us here. Since the process started till now, what has been it for you and your camp?
Good morning to your listeners and your viewers as well. For us in the NPP, I think we are poised. We do not agree with the electoral position of this accident that instead of instantly dead, which is sheet witness police, so that elect.
You'd have to forgive me, but if you can reposition yourself, I'll appreciate it. Your line keeps breaking.
Okay.
Okay, so let's give it a try and see if it's working now. Hello, Chief.
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah, so let's try it again and see if the line is working now.
Hello, good morning. Is it okay now?
Yeah, let's give it a try.
Yeah, okay. So as I was saying, we in the NPP, we are poised and ready to contest in this election. Notwithstanding the position of the party, I think yesterday there was a press conference which was made by general voters or maybe general voters in Ablekuma North. And they made a clearing that for them they went to vote for honorable for election. So they are able to come out as they have fought on Tiago. all the
forgive me, but the line has gone bad again. I don't know, but it keeps breaking. So
I was driving, so I parked somewhere. Let me find a different place.
Exactly. Yes, I think so. So I mean, we'll come back to you so that we can really understand what's happening. So that is the aide to Nana Afriyie, who is the NPP's parliamentary candidate for Ablekuma North. Prof.
Yes, I said if they boycott, NPP risks ceding that seat to the NDC.
And you're asking whether if they win, it will change any dynamic in Parliament?
Well, we're looking at the number they have in Parliament at the moment. If you add one MP to that number, ordinarily, it will not change the dynamics in power. You cannot become a majority in Parliament or have that majority with one person, addition to the number you have. But then you would have made a statement. Now look, we went to the election, we lost the general election. But 6 months down the line, we've won 1 seat. You're able to ginger the base of your party, the grassroots. We'll be happy. So I don't know why the woman defiled the orders of the national executives. I don't know. But for me, it wasn't in a good taste for me. That strategy wasn't the best approach. Some of the issues could be taken over, handled internally. You organize a press conference and tell the whole country you will not go. Then the MP comes out to say, look, I'll go.
The candidate.
The candidate tells us, yeah, I'll go. You know.
But couldn't that have been a strategy to sort of tell your opponent that, well, you have a field, you have a free field there, you can play on it. I'm not going to come. So it would limit the rage with which the opponent would have come if you were going to compete. No, because I've heard people say that this could have been a political strategy. I don't know
that was what I mentioned from the beginning. But if you ask me my fair opinion, that could not be the proper strategy. But to them, it could be a proper strategy. That will tell, we'll daze our opponents. We'll let them know our strategy. We'll tell them one breath, we will not go. 5 minutes after, we are there campaigning. And you see, when you do that, your opponent is dazed and wouldn't know what strategy you are coming on. And I'm sure that's what is happening at Ablekuma today. Even started yesterday. Yeah. We saw some supporters European going to Ablekuma. And this morning, the same. So, NDC should, that place has been a stronghold for the NPP. And if what you saw in Nevada, the video, by the Tanko professor, is it Professor Tanko or Dr. Tanko?
Just say Rashid, Tanko Rashid.
Okay, what he said, anything to go by. The result will show. I don't know what strategy they have put in place, but the point is that the good candidate should win.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so that's on Ablekuma North. Let's do some stories now from the newspapers. Daily Graphic. Yeah, let's start with the Daily Graphic.
Okay.
We can do stories on the front page and one major one to discuss.
Okay. The Daily Graphic front page, I think this morning.
Yeah. You have a shot of it. Yeah.
Dispute over chieftaincy stool. Tight security in Akua. Then stage set for Ablekuma North polling stations rerun. Sterile men should not bath hot water. Expert. That means those who have challenges with this thing should not be bathing hot water. With their
those who are having issues
for those, yes. Unless if I come, I'll read the story a bit. Very important.
In this weather, which other weather?
No, some of us do bath above hot water, but for a different purpose.
I mean, this cold weather.
As Sarah Gongo renovates Saulaga Basic School back page, Access Bank supports free sanitary pad initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about? The tight security in Akua or the sterile men?
Both we can just look at them. The tight security in Akua, sometimes I shudder to think what is causing. These are people who know their history about chieftaincy and so on. Yet all the time we continue to have these things. Don't we have documented ways of dealing with chieftaincy, land disputes, and issues that border with our own management of our communities? It continues to bring insecurity issues all the time. Unfortunately, a lot of people are caught in this crossfire. They lose their lives. Sometimes innocent people go in there to do business. Sometimes children or women. And yet we continue to fight an old issue that has bedeviled us over years. And I don't know what the problem is. Because look, sometimes we want to blame the colonial government for most of this. But they've given us our country. We cannot manage even chieftaincy dispute over stool lands and so on. And I think that's about time we all put our heads together and ensure. I know that it's a controversial area. That's why the Constitution specifically gives a whole chapter to them and as to how to manage their orders. If law is backing them, they cannot manage what confront them as a chieftaincy institution. Then maybe at some point in time, the country might have to discuss as to what will happen. But the security issues under the chieftaincy and the lands and so on is creating a huge problem in this country.
We'll come back to you. Let's go to Ablekuma North now, because we've been joined by the Deputy Director of Elections and IT of the NDC, Tanko Rashid Computer. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. I guess you are in Ablekuma North now. What's happening?
Hello?
Tango, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Did you hear my question?
Yes. So I'm currently in Ablekuma North. Things are going on well. It's very smooth. It started smoothly. Security is solid on the ground. The electors are all here. We did our best to whip up interest to make sure that come out and must stay for the NDC candidate, the Governor. Of course, the wheel of change been and it continues kind of bit there. Not gonna blow and make sure that the right is elected, and that is going to.
Looks like the line would not be helping us today. But how many polling stations have you been to so far?
So far, we've visited about, in fact, there are 19 polling stations we are dealing with. So far, we've covered about 10 so far. Okay. I had some issues with the EC this morning, needed to clarify before we proceed. Things are going on well, very smooth. But I can assure you, although it's early days yet, but I can assure you that the election is it will go on successful with Aide.
Okay. You say you have issues with the EC you want to clarify before you go on. What kind of issues?
Well, it has to do with the collation center. I mean, yesterday we discussed it, that we will use the original office as the collation center. But this morning, I saw one of your sister stations portals in another center at the top itself. And so I didn't verify it, but it turned out the right. I mean, we still mean the regional head office as the collation center for state. That's needed.
Oh, okay. So you've now clarified that it's still going to happen at the regional office in terms of collation.
That is it. That is where the collation will be done.
Okay. When we spoke to our reporter at one polling station, I think that was the DVLA polling station in Awoshi. As of the time we were speaking to him, only 3 out of 613 had come to cast their votes. What is it like from the 10 polling stations that you've been to?
Yes, the numbers are trickling in. That's why I said the hours. We are still in the early hours of the election. The numbers are trickling in. It will whip up around midday. That's the time the numbers will start coming. You know, it's a cosmopolitan area, especially that North, cosmopolitan area. Most they voted not that the way they got to us, and then it has a market around there. Some of them are market. They are not from that area. They just advantage of the rate. So we have the way as of yesterday tracking of them. And they are not area. They are seeing some different place, and then they are although they at that place. And so it takes time for them to get there. They know morning traffic and all that.
Okay. You were telling us yesterday that collation of the ballot in the last election have been done by the EC. Do you still have the figures with you?
Yes. We participated in the collation of the results. We collated 262 polling stations yesterday. Interestingly, the NPP also participated. They are very for this are the group of people. They were, the collation together, and then we ended up with 2,512 for the end. And then
Tanko, forgive me, but the line keeps breaking. Give me the figure again. You said the NDC and NPP go how many?
Yeah, the NPP had 32,512.
Okay.
Then the NDC, we also had 32,464. So we have a difference of 48.
462 or 452, 454?
It's 32,464.
Oh, 64. Okay.
64.
Okay.
So we have a difference of 48.
Oh, 48 rather. Okay.
48.
Okay.
So it negates the propaganda of NPP that they were leading some 400 and some phantom 400 votes.
Yeah.
They don't have that kind of figure. They don't have it.
Well, but that is out of the, that does not include the 19 polling stations. Maybe if you add the 19.
That doesn't include the 16. You see, they had not collated 3 polling stations.
Yeah.
So we took out the 16, and when we put the 16 figures together for NDC and NPP, they didn't come close to that 400 they are talking about.
Okay. Okay.
And we did the collation yesterday, and they were very much, everybody was satisfied. They came with some difference of 500 they were looking at, and it turned out that they didn't have this kind of figure. And so that tells you that Ablekuma North cannot be a stronghold of NPP. It's just that they were doing something funny that we didn't know, and today it won't play out.
But isn't the 2024 election an outlier, if you want to base on that to say it has never been their stronghold?
Well, I am saying that if you look at the 2024 elections, there were about 20 or more constituencies the NDC flipped. If you look at from 1996 to 2024, we've never won such constituencies.
Yeah.
But in 2024, we flipped them. It tells you that the NPP currently cannot hold on to a constituency that is their stronghold. Because those constituencies, we could look at Dominic Kwabenya. We flipped it. And so this one, Ablekuma North, they used to beat us over 10,000 plus votes. Today, we are battling with them just some difference of 48.
But Tanko, if your argument, will it still hold if you take it to somewhere, say, Ezekata, where the former railways minister was? I mean, the NPP flipped it in 2020, but you took it back in 2024. Does that mean that when they took it back in 2020, you, the NDC, could not have said that was your stronghold? That's what I'm saying, that for now, for a constituency of this nature, for somebody to say it's a stronghold of NPP, maybe the person is making reference to past elections. And I'm saying that if you look at the last election, if they used to beat us over 10,000 votes, and 2024 elections, and I'm back with them, that's the difference of 40. It tells you that something is wrong with that story.
Dr. Computer, it's Sweetie here. So, I mean, I'm just trying to floor your arguments by saying the NDC has never won election in Ablekuma North constituency. You can go as far back as 1992, 1920. I mean, you came close in 2008, but you've never really won. So that's a reason why we can call it a stronghold for the NPP, no?
That's why I'm saying that in 2024, we had similar constituencies, about 20 of them. We've never won in those constituencies, but we flipped them. That tells you that we did something extraordinary in 2024 to flip those constituencies. And that is why Ablekuma North was being flipped. But because of the problems we had, that's why we had to do this rerun. Otherwise, it would have been in the basket of NDC.
Okay.
We shouldn't have gone for this rerun.
Okay.
That is what I'm talking about.
Out of curiosity, did the NPP's earlier decision to boycott the election do anything for your campaign in that constituency? I mean, in the 19 polling stations, when they first pulled out of the election, did that strategy or that decision, did they do anything to help your campaign?
See, all along, at one of your major programs, PM Express, I told them, Evans, that look, don't trust NPP press conference. We started this campaign with them. They were doing submarine campaign in the constituency. Meanwhile, they are on the platform doing propaganda that we are not participating. We are not doing this. It's an illegality. Meanwhile, they were doing campaign. In fact, their deputy general secretary told me it was a lie. They were not doing it. But today, so anytime computer is speaking to you about NPP, take it serious. Because I know these people. It came to pass. Now, today, you've seen them all over the place. So we knew they were campaigning, so we had planned out. So when a serious contest in NDC and NPP, we knew of it.
All right, which means you didn't water down your campaign, although they said they were pulling out. Hold for us. We have the aid of...
pulling out.
Yes, please hold for us. We have the aid of Afriyie on the line with us, and he's also, on ground, and we want to assess how things are going from his side. And sir, thank you for joining again. Your connection was bad earlier. Can you tell us how the election is unfolding in these 19 polling stations so far for you?
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning to yourself and your listeners as well. So far, I think elections started at 7 o'clock exactly. And for now, very few people are come out. We are praying the early days here. Majority of the electorate come out at their from today.
I don't know if it's network connection or if you just ended your submission, but we understand it's a slow start. Do you get the same experience from where you visited so far?
Obviously, once you start anything, it will start slowly. As time goes on, it will double up, and I think the numbers are going down. And don't forget, we are only voting in 19 polling stations, which amount to about a region of an excess of a little of 6,000. And we have the contact of the people. We are calling them. They will come out and vote. Don't worry. At the end of the day, I am convinced that Honorable Afriyie won the 2024 parliamentary elections, and same is going to be repeated. She will be declared the winner after 5 o'clock of this election.
Considering the time you had to start campaigning, proper campaigning, on the back of going to courts, boycotting the election, as earlier you said, and now that you are full, you are locked in and, the election is underway, do you think the voters have had enough time to prepare? Those who are not around within the constituencies, who have to travel back, do you think you've had enough time to... do you think you've given them enough time to prepare for the election?
The position of the EC is not something that the party agrees with. Looking at antecedents that have preceded this election, from day one up to now, they have been saying that they are only going to collect 3 polling stations. And suddenly there was a U-turn. Already the court has ordered that they should go and complete the collation process. So the party has no choice than to go back to court to seek redress. When we went to court, the court declined on our intention to hold on with the election. We have no choice. The party has taken its position. Yesterday, there was several press conferences which was organized and made on behalf of Honorable Afriyie through the general electorate in Ablekuma North. So once the electorate themselves has come out to make a press conference that for them, they believe that the 2024 election was won by Honorable Afriyie and they voted for it and they want their vote to count. Once they themselves have come out and voted, regardless of the time that we had for our campaign, I believe that he's going to get the numbers and they are going to vote for her. I'm certain on that.
Well.
Okay, so let's see how this goes. But where is your candidate and how is she doing?
Oh, she's fine. She's fine. She's fine. She's fine. She's a high-spirited woman. She's fine. Whatever she's gone through, she's given up everything to God. And I know that the good Lord, who has seen her through for the past 7 months, is going to deliver for her today after 5 o'clock, and she'll be declared as a winner.
But where is she now?
She's equally going around ensuring that whatever logistics that needed to be provided for our polling agents and our canvassers and whoever needs to come out and vote, she's equally augmenting in that process.
We understand you have support from constituencies across the country who have come to support the NPP in this election.
Yes, personally myself, yesterday I saw Honorable Asenso Boache, I saw Honorable Kennedy Japon himself, I saw Ahmed Shaibu, I saw a host of NPP, in fact, all the ladies in the NPP parliamentary caucus visited her yesterday in her office to give her support. Honorable Aide of Akua personally came down to campaign in the constituency.
So she has the support of the entire NPP fraternity. And I believe that by the grace of God, after 5 o'clock, she will be declared the winner of the 2024 election that has protracted to now.
Okay. Let's see how that goes. But we understand that you are, from the vote that they've collected so far, you are leading by only 48 votes. Are you aware of that?
Exactly. Even with the 19 polling stations that elections are being held now, we are leading with 361, if we should do the aggregate. That aside, if we should put that aside, and as you said, the figure you gave exactly remains for the remaining one apart from the 19. So we are poised. We believe that we won this election. And I'm surprised on how Honorable Tanko Computer was all over speaking to this issue. He was not here during the 2024 presidential and parliamentary election. I was here, and I can speak to the issue that happened. He only talks of reports. So please, I think you should just put his argument aside and just pray that at the end of the day, the police will provide their security. Anybody who intends to cause mayhem will be dealt with. Let election flow so that at least our democracy will be guarded. Okay, all right. Chief, we are grateful to you for joining us here. We'll be coming to you when the need arises. So that is the aide to the parliamentary candidate of the NPP, Nana Akua. Well,
I think
all eyes.
Have Dr. Computer on.
Okay.
Give us your final word. I mean, of course, you're busy and you're monitoring the election, and you say you are very hopeful you're winning. So what's the final word before we let you go?
Well, I can assure you that we are going to win the election. Everything is on course. We've done our work as of yesterday, and today the wind of change is coming to Ablekuma North. They need development. I mean, this is what they are telling us. And they've been with NPP for all this while. When you see the road network in the constituency, terrible. Nothing is working in that constituency. And so they need a change.
Okay.
I mean, you can't continue to be eating one soup when your life is not changing. You better change.
All right.
And that's why they change in 2024. So they need to continue the change, and they will conclude the change today. And that is what is going to happen.
All right. Thank you, Dr.
But just before Doc, I understand with what is happening in Ablekuma North, your stance on changing the EC has now softened, right? Is that true?
Change what DC?
Yes. The EC commissioners. You now think that they should continue.
Well, today is for Ablekuma North. Let's deal with Ablekuma North. After we are done with it, we can talk about this.
Okay. Thank you, Rashid Computer. I'm grateful to you for joining us. Okay. All right. Yes. Computer is part of it. Yeah. So thank you, Rashid Computer.
Something. He used to be Dr.
Oh, hold on for that. We'll come to it.
Yeah.
Let's stay with.
But that was why I was laughing.
Let's stay with Ablekuma North.
Oh, well, all eyes are
on
constituency this morning. Let's see how, by close of day, let's see who comes out. Whose signboard will be pulled down? Because when you enter the constituency, we have Irabna, Obin, and Afriyie. Thank you. So let's see whose billboard will be pulled down.
A validation will be done today. Suti, let's come to you.
Yeah, so if I don't do this story, Brace will have my head. And there's an interesting story here. You know, I think a week or so ago, we
I love it because of
about a story about how Inspired by Wicom is helping people who are interested in the agribusiness but do not really understand what goes into it. So they're educating people, giving them the necessary tools to get into it. And now we know that the first cohort of the Inspired by Wicom were hosted by FVV Foods Factory and in Akuse. And I just want to give you a bit of detail. So the patrons who were participants of this agriculture and agribusiness lending course for staff of financial institutions were hosted at a factory of FVV Foods, producers of FVV rice, chicken in Akuse, where they were taken through the realities of Ghana's agriculture and what it takes for one to succeed in the sector by specialists of New Age Agri Solutions Limited. So that's what they are about. And if you're interested in learning more about agriculture, and if you want to go into that field but you aren't sure what it will take from you, I think you should look to Inspired by Wicom. They have the solution for you. And I think, like we always say, agriculture is the backbone of the economy. And so when young people are trooping into that sector, it does a lot for us, on a national level. So congratulations to them. And let's see how they turn the narrative when they come out of this training program.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the point is that, and lawyer, if you have interest in agriculture, a lot of it people don't know where to begin. And people also have some myths about the agric. We all know the agric is quite, it's capital intensive, it's quite risky, but some people have gotten it right. So how do you also get it right? And that's why this, I think, is a good project, such that people will be teamed with or will be paired with people who've done it, so they sort of tell you how to get it right and how not to get it right. Maybe that could help save farming or make it better in this country.
I think it's an excellent idea. It's an excellent idea. And it ties in with the government's current policy regarding agric and agri-business. Because we all know that food is the foundation of every society. If you look throughout history, from the Fertile Crescent and all those places, it is when a society is able to get food security, then everything follows from there. And it is an excellent idea. I, for example, where I am, we do a bit of backyard farming. And,
that's
yes,
good.
And unfortunately for me, it's my wife who knows her way around it. I even though agric was one of my favorite subjects in secondary school and primary, when it comes to how it works on the ground, I can't claim to know much. So I suppose this is an excellent idea. It reminds me of those days in our Greek studies where we had what you call the husbandry officers and other people who were the experts. So this is wonderful. This is like a hands-on approach to agric, people who will help you through it. And I'm even inspired to maybe engage one or two of them regarding my backyard farming. And if I decide to even go large scale, and I know a lot of people who are into large scale farming, but they only own the farms and don't know much about it and are very busy, even legal practitioners. I know a lot of legal practitioners who are into agric, but they don't know much. And sometimes they complain that, oh, I was ripped off here, this happened, this. When you have these weak compete, they can even visit the law firms, the lawyers in agric, and then show them the ropes so that they don't make losses in agric. It's an excellent
Maybe the lawyers can also be part of the Inspired by WeCom. You can be part of the cohort.
I would love it. I would love to.
Okay.
I'd love to.
Mr. From where you are coming from, you are the food basket of the country. If you look at this, what WeCom is doing, how can it be made better, really?
Oh, I think it can be made better. In fact, money from agric is untainted money. It's green money. No one can hold you for corruption on anything at all. Like he said, look, the real sector feeds the economy. And our backyard gardens play a very important role in our program. The big mechanized farming is for exports. They do not really feed the population like the peasant farming and the backyard.
But some to do, because if you look at the every foods like this, what they do, the rice are grown on large scale farms, but they produce the rice and they are all sold in Ghana.
And depending on the area you want to tackle. People also target the export marketers, which is not bad in any case. You see, what they are doing must be replicated, and we must take it seriously as a country. He talked about backyard garden, and I've often juxtaposed that with non-traditional exports. Non-traditional exports yielded this country $4 billion 2023. It is estimated that in the next 5 years, it's going to give us $25 billion. So it's worth its weight in gold and worth more, and it's green. So we don't destroy the environment, we go and then it is the best. Like he said, when I was in San Mama, my wife used to do a lot of farming. He was a banker, but he was doing a lot of farming, including the rearing of guinea fowls and so on. I was not fixated on that. But when I was younger in secondary school, we did a lot of farming. But our farming was basically for consumption purposes. Agric and agri-processing, it's not the way to go.
Oh, yes.
And we must commend them. We must ensure that it is replicated. Look, where you can put much more resources to generate, it can pay itself off. We have to begin to support. And we look at the 24-hour economy. Prof was telling me that when you read a Greek aspect of it, when we implement that, we are good to go.
Yeah.
And it will, most of the imports that we are going to embark on and so on will be dealt with locally and to support export drive. It will support the local consumption, apart from the nutritional aspect, because most of these things are done on organic as compared to the GMOs. And when you export organic farm produce and agri-produce outside, you make much more money. You go to the US, they want to eat organic fowl instead of what they export to us. And they must take advantages of the program rolling out, and managers of those programs should make it easier for them to assess it, whether funding or whatever they need to expand, and it should be all inclusive. And I think that is the best way to go.
So maybe next time you and your
want to do big agri.
So you have to you want to do big commercial agri.
Yes.
Okay. That's
I've seen that it is the way to go. It is the way to go because it now yields better. When we're younger, agri used not to yield so much. We're mostly for consumption. Then our parents will send
it means that you have to go for inspired that we come.
I have to go. I'll get a content. Then I want to encourage my children to embark on it so well. And that it is the only way to save our economy from where we are now. No any other way. Not gold, not oil, and not silver. So
exactly.
Thank you very much, sir. But before Prof comes in, let's go to Ablekuma North again. James Aveji is joining us now. James, where are you now, and what's the latest? James, can you unmute so we can hear what you're telling us?
Okay, Brace, I'm sure you can hear me now. A few things have been happening here. As we speak, 38 persons have voted so far. The one you see there trying to go and vote will be the 39th, 40th person to vote at this particular polling station. Earlier, we were thinking it would be a slow start, but an hour into the voting process with 40 people voting so far, it looks like things are picking up here at the DVLA polling station in Ablekuma North constituency at Awoshin. Just some few minutes ago, the NDC candidate, Erabna Obing, was here to interact with both the Electoral Commission officers as well as the residents and voters who, some of them are pitching camp around the voting center to interact with them as part of her monitoring process across the 19 polling stations that the rerun is happening. We tried to interact with her, but she will not speak to the media. But the MC, the Dean of MC, who met...
Okay, so that's James Aveji there. And then visuals you're seeing on the screens now, or the visual you're seeing is when the NDC candidate, Rabina Orban, came into that particular polling station. That's a DVLA polling station in Awashi. James is back. James, okay. Let's go to Jacqueline and Sumaya Boa. Jacqueline, where are you and what can you report?
Currently, I'm at the Methodist Church or Dorko. Initially, last year during the election, this very place was the collation center, but we are not privy to that information yet, if this place would be used as a collation center for this particular rerun. But then this polling station is expected to have 464 voters. As I'm speaking to you right now, roughly around 27 people have moved in to vote so far. As you can see behind me, we have a couple of voters also coming in to cast their vote. So that is the situation here. I've been to a couple of others, but when we talk about the voter turnout today, we haven't seen massive queues like what we saw in 2024, December is 7th. What we see is that people keep coming in here bit by bit, one in ones and twos. Some would even come, make inquiries and check even if their name is there. Wouldn't vote and say that probably they'll come in later on during the day to come in and vote. So that has been the situation here. But what I also notice is that security is very tight, especially in this particular
polling station. I don't know, because it has the huge numbers here, 464 voters that are expected here. I see a lot more. You can see some of them up, a lot of them down. I see them surrounding the whole polling station. I'm also picking up information that the NPP parliamentary candidate is on the move now. She some few minutes ago, speaking with her team, they are currently at Radiant Way. They are expected to move closer here. I'm hoping to engage her and the team as to how the rounds has been so far. So that is all that we can get currently at the Methodist Church here at Odorko 1.
Okay, Jacqueline, thank you very much. What we've been told by Tanko Computer Rashid is that the coalition will be at the EC's regional head office. So that is Jacqueline, thank you. Let's go back to DVLA polling station in Awoshi, where James Aveji is standing by. James, you were saying something. You were earlier telling us that you wanted to engage the Rabina Obing. Okay, so we understand that James has done. But as we give you that assurance, we have our men and women there in Ablekuma North, in all of these 19 polling centers, and we'll bring you all that is happening here on the Joy News channel. Yes, Prof, you're going to make a point when we took it over about the Inspire by WECOM. I mean, a project that is meant to open up the agricultural sector to people who have the interest to go in there, but they do not know how and where to start. This is like a guiding path for you to get it right in the agricultural sector, because it is capital intensive. You can't go in there and waste that money. So this project, as I read it, is to help people make the right decisions and get it right in the agricultural sector.
I think it's a good initiative. If I have time, I'll visit, I'll try and attend that program myself. A policy or a training or initiative that will open up the space for people to know what time to enter, how to enter. Very important. You know, I was tempted to add a 24, part of the 8 pillars. There's one aspire. So when I heard I thought it's a good. You know, if you read that their policy, the 24-hour policy, they start with the Grow 24. It means that you cannot do anything without agric. You know, the characteristics of our economy, we have structural issues as a country. And it stems from that area, agric. Because a country that is characterized as we consume more than we produce, and we import more than we export, there's always a gap. How do you fill that void? It's through this initiative, agric. But over the years, we have used agric as a punishment. Our school days.
Yes, you go and weed.
The teacher wanted to punish you, go and weed. So we all have not liked agric. So you can attest to that. Because we use that as a form of punishment. But today,
and those who are in it, we don't even respect them.
We don't even respect. But if you go beyond your borders. In fact, when the farmers over there, when they speak, look, the government will have to listen. Because they feed the economy. They feed the economy. You know, so I think it's a very good initiative that we think we should support this.
One last story from the Business and Financial Times. Savings and loans sector hits 10 billion Ghana cedis in assets. And this is about 30% increment from year on year, 30% increment from where we left off in 2023. Yeah, and it's representing 30% year-on-year growth. And I think this is good news, because it's not everyone who wants to do business with the banks, because sometimes the interest rates and the way they do things are just too much. Savings and loans, I like, because it caters for the smaller group of people who want to do SMEs, you know, small to medium enterprises. They're the ones who are raking in this amount of money, and I think it's commendable. Just for the first 6 months or so of this year, if we can do this, then it's looking like there's light at the end of the tunnel. But that's it for the NFT.
We should applaud the people who take the loans and pay back. Yes. Sometimes when someone tells me, oh, if you are sending the Momo, don't send it to this number. I get angry.
Yeah.
And on because
they are owing MTN.
Yes, because you see,
not just MTN. They are.
It is not easy to raise capital to go into this loans business. So if you take someone's money and you decide not to pay, you are killing someone's father, you are killing someone's son or daughter, because in the end, if the company suffers, you have caused a company to collapse, loss of jobs. So those who take loans and pay back, we should applaud them, because it's not easy at all to run a loans company. Someone takes the money and says, I won't pay. It's not good. But for those who pay.
What helps is that now they are running both digital and physical platforms.
Yes.
And loans have moved to, the whole digitalization agenda is working there, so which makes it easier. You see a lot of these lending companies.
That BOG have issues with some of them.
Yes, I know.
The BOG has come out to say that some of them are not accredited, but for those who are accredited,
Those who are, they're doing
If even I could quickly add Psalm 37 verse 21, it says, the wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously. So I mean, even the Almighty encourages us to pay back our loans.
Exactly. When you borrow, pay.
Yes, and it is even a larger issue of trust. When you do not pay back your loans, what you are doing to the loans and then the savings institution is that trust that they are trying to build between the institutions and the public is gradually eroding. Some other genuine people who would otherwise want to borrow now go into borrow, and they tighten the processes of taking the loan.
Yeah.
So by your non-payment, you are creating problems to otherwise genuine people who have got good plans to be able to use this money. And I think that is a good deal. The assets that have reached 10 billion within the space of time, they should also look at their interest rate. Sometimes the interest rate are so much that at the end of the day, it erodes everything that the entrepreneur wants to do. When you look at Papa Kwesi Nkrumah's bank, what was the name?
GN Bank.
GN Bank was almost permeating every corner of this country in terms of inculcating into our people the sense of banking. And borrowing, you understand? So you could see them in almost every corner.
They were doing a wonderful job.
Doing a wonderful job. That was why we're saying that when it came up to the banking issue, there were some banks that would have been protected. When you look at the financial crime that hit the U.S., I think during the Obama time, Citibank, Morgan Stanley, and then Chase Manhattan, they had to build, the Obama's administration printed over trillions of dollars to support them.
I hate to interrupt your flow, but we have to go back to James Savage, and he's back online with us. And James, you were saying that you couldn't actually get a word from Irabna Obin, but you have more details to report. Go ahead and report.
Yes, sweetie, as I was saying, she was here together with her team to interact with the electoral officers as well as the police and the other residents who are also around to monitor the process. We tried to speak to her, but she would not make any comment yet. But the Gan West MC, who is representing the MCs and also monitoring the process for her, which is the NDC, together with the party agent situated here, indicates that it is just part of her monitoring process across the 19 polling stations who are undertaking the rerun in the constituency so far. And so she spent about some 3-5 minutes here and left. If you ask me about security situations, there is police presence here, as I told you earlier, at about 7:40 thereabout, there was a team of police vehicles, patrol pickups, which also drove by, officers coming down to interact with their friends, counterparts who are on the grounds. I count about 10, 12, 15 police officers who have been deployed so far, a number of them in the inner perimeter as well as outside. The team we saw in about 5-6 pickups who drove past and interacted with their colleagues, we are told are patrol teams who are moving around town in the 19 polling stations as well as the entire constituency surveying the constituency to pick up any info that could lead to any distraction or chaos. And so the police are also on the grounds, a number of them armed. Those in the inner perimeter are here. I do not see them carrying any arm, but they are here monitoring the process. And so there is enough police deployment, security on the grounds, and voting process is ongoing so far. From my last check before joining you, 47 voters have cast their ballot so far here at this polling station out of the 613 who are expected to cast their vote. So it is running smoothly, and we expect that the voters will turn out to vote in their numbers before the close of poll later in the day, sweetie.
All right. Thank you, James, for bringing us those details. And I mean, gentlemen, it makes sense that the reason we are even here in the first place is because of the violent disruptions of collation, centers. And I keep saying that the polling stations themselves, they are not a reason to have, to be concerned in terms of security. It is when it comes to the collation, that is where we saw pockets of violence. So all our reporters are reporting this morning that security is well beefed up, and I think that's a good one. Yes. We have about 5 or so minutes to wrap up. And I think, Mr. Awuntun, you were the one.
Yes, I was just trying to juxtapose that what happened in the U.S. as a capitalist state, vis-a-vis our banking sector here. The government could have come in to support the banks that were doing well, and afterwards, shares were acquired for the people of the United States. So we could have done that when we talked about. But it's a good news this morning to see our savings and loan sector of this economy growing so well within the first 6 months of this. Let's hope that the momentum goes on well, that at the end of the year or at the end of some period, they'll be able to support businesses in this part of the world. People who cannot have access to loans because of the tightening conditions surrounding getting loans from the big universal banks and so on. And I think with our women's bank, the Women's Development Bank that is going to take place, when it comes, it's going to augment the existing one, because loans that we taken from that the Women's Development Bank, the interest will be so low, and you can take from even 1,000 to 1 million, depending on your capacity. And I think that is good too.
Prof, I know you have something to say. You are smiling so widely.
No, I like the angle he was coming with to support this segment. Even it's a good story that accepts over a period of time for 6 months, the growth. I was 10 billion.
No, it's 10 billion.
10 billion. 10 billion.
Yeah, 10 billion.
We are talking about the increase in the total value of resources owned by individual or a bank.
Okay, so this is as of March 2025. So first quarter.
First quarter.
Yeah.
So first quarter. Simply tells you increase in the total value of all the resources that you have, organization or an institution. And sometimes it could come as a result of 3 things. Appreciation of existing assets you have, or accumulation of new asset that you have, or just income. But I will be quick. I want to see the entire financial statement to be able to peruse. This is one leg of statement they've given to us in terms of the financial position of the company, in terms of the asset they have. They have not given us the comprehensive income statement to tell us the profits portion. Those who have also defaulted, how are they also impacting on the entire financial position? And it's a good call.
That's it for me.
That has it. But, earlier, Honorable was contemplating whether the 1D ONF has indeed been cancelled. Now, the fact is, Mrs. Elizabeth Ofoswaja, Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, says the 1D ONF program, a flagship initiative of the NPP, has been cancelled. That's it.
So as you speak, there is no 1D ONF policy.
And yes, that's exactly what it says. Let me bring a quote. It says, Mr. Speaker, I want to draw the House's attention to the fact that as of now, there is no policy as 1D ONF. Then she says, to a question that they asked about remedial, she says, since I did not cancel the policy, I would not be in position to give reasons why remedial measures were not given before the cancellation.
Yeah, so it ties into what I said, that if this policy had been properly seen through, it would have augmented the 24-hour economy, just like the one village, one dam.
Yeah.
Or like this one we're talking about, Inspire, Agric, and so on.
So that was it, just to say that has been cancelled. Thank you very much. So that's it. That's how we wrap up the news review segment. Thanks to Professor Isaac Body, Dean, Accounting and Finance, UPSA, to Kwame, I got it right, Kwame Botio, General Secretary of the CPP and the lawyer, Honorable Timothy Atabuade Awunterim. Is that it?
Yes,
okay.
Got it.
Former MP, Busa North Constituency. Yes. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more on the AM show.